Hello, everybody! If you're watching this, you missed our Monday lecture in Computer Science Principles, and this is one of the last lectures we're having. Of course, there's one more. That one will not have a video, as we will be doing trivia and having a good time in general. This is the last workday for the semester. Please note that anything you want to turn in to me is due Wednesday the 27th by midnight, after which point I will not grade it. Don't forget to pay for your AP exam by February 1st. We're going to take a quick look at assignment 050701, and I'll show you a common mistake. And we're going to be working on loops, loops make rather, which is going to be assignment 0508, and is going to be the very last one for the semester. Woo! All right, so there's a quick warm-up right here. Please pause the video and try it on your own. What you gotta do here is you have to run the code on the left-hand side on all three boards and see what the turtle does and see if it crashes. A crash occurs if it runs into an obstacle or tries to run off the grid. Hopefully you were able to do this. If not, let's take a look at how it's done, or let's double check that you got the right answer. I would always recommend making a table for one of these problems to store the values of the various variables. So x starts off with 2 in it, y starts off with 1, and z starts with 5. Now a really common point of confusion happens on these three lines. X is y plus x, or 3. Y is then y plus x again, but keep in mind, x has already changed at this point. So it says 3 plus 1 or 4. If you wrote 3 here, it's a very common mistake, but you're wrong. Z is x plus y, which again is 3 plus 4 now, not any of these previous values. So you get 7. All right, the next thing I like to do is go through here and see if any of these always or never happen. So is x more than 3? That's never true. 3 is not more than 3, so this never happens. Is y more than 2? That's always true. This always happens. Is z more than 6? Well, it always is. So this always happens. And if it can move forward will depend on the board state. So now I'm ready to apply what I've got here to the board. Is y more than 2? That's always true. So we're going to rotate left and move forward. So we're here. This always happens as well. Rotate right, move forward. And rotate left, move forward. If we can move forward, we can. There's an empty spot here. So we're going to go up here, and this is where it ends. We're going to do a similar maneuver on this board. Rotate left forward, rotate right forward. There's an empty space here, so rotate left forward. However, on this board, when we try to do the same thing, we can go up, but we crash right here on the second go. So there's one crash and 2 successes in this example. All right, next, let's take a look at code.org, and let's take a look at your assignment from last time, which was assignment number, or lesson rather, number 7. This had a really common mistake in it that I want to address, and that has to do with inattention. So if you run this, I was expecting for you to roll the dice, have the even numbers highlighted in white, and also count the total even numbers. There were some issues. The issues primarily occurred when somebody did this. This code still works, but notice if I run it multiple times, eventually everything gets a white border. Why is that? Well, the reason is you did not consider the program was going to be run multiple times. So when you added the code, which is this code, to set the property of the border color to white, there's no other place in the program that resets it outside of this. So you need to either set the odd colors to a different border color, or when you originally run the program, set all of the borders to black. I think it's a little easier to set the odd colors, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to set them all to black by giving them values of 0 for every single pixel, red, blue, and green, green, blue, sorry. So if we run this, Now it works as expected. So please make sure you are paying attention to this and you run your program multiple times when testing it. If you just run it once, you might miss something like this. All right, so that brings us to, not this, that's an enrichment activity, the lock screen maker, your final assignment. So the lock screen maker has a handout on my MCPS that you can open up with a rubric. Please read the rubric carefully, and then let's check out what the program should look like. So much like the rest of the make assignments you've done so far, this one involves you recreating an app that you receive all the UI elements for. What does this app do? It'll display several random elements of random sizes, of random colors, in random locations around the screen. If I press one of these three buttons, it'll randomize just one aspect of those elements. For instance, colors, or locations, or what the shapes are. So I want to share a couple of ideas that might be helpful here. If you look at the code, they've already given you a list of all the possible shapes. In the assignment here, I ask, what kind of variables are you going to use? It's totally possible to do this assignment with just the one list and not use any farther variables. That's fine. You certainly are welcome to, of course, make other variables more far past too. You can insert your own rows, and there is a valid way to do that as well. So don't feel shackled to using a specific number of variables. If you're going to have 20 icons, please don't forget, you want to make sure you run your loop 20 times, and then you can set the property of each of those icons by referring to the icon plus I as the element you're going to change. That way, first you change icon 0, then icon 1, icon 2, and so on and so forth down the line. You're going to need to use the random number generator at some point. Please don't forget, the random generator only creates whole numbers. So if you want to change the opacity of your icons, remember you do that by setting the RGB color to have 4 values, with the last one being a decimal from 0 to 1. You cannot put a random number here from 0 to 1. That will not work. And the reason that won't work is it'll always either generate 0 or 1. And 0 will make your object invisible, while 1 will make it solid. So if you want this to work, you could do something like this, where you generate a number from 0 to 100, and then divide it by 100. So what that would do is you would generate some kind of number, and then you divide it by 100, giving you a decimal. And that will work. So you do not have to change the opacity. It's not part of the assignment description. If you don't do that, that'll be fine. But if you wanted to, this is how you would do it. Lastly, please make sure that each of your on events for each of the buttons randomizes the correct thing. So if you're going to randomize the color, you might want to randomize each number inside RGB, and there would be 3 of them, from 0 to 255. And then for obviously you do a similar thing for locations and shapes. So think about how to do that. Your assignment is due Wednesday at midnight. If you have any questions, please stop by my office hours. I'm running them Tuesday and Wednesday from 2:40 until 4 p.m. and I'd be happy to help you out there. If you have any questions, reach out to me via email as well, and I'll hope to see you guys all next time. Have a good rest of your day.